Great morning, great morning, great morning. It is 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on WDRB Media, the voice of the community. And it's time for the It's About You radio show. Here each and every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm your host, Maurice McDonald. As I say each and every week, guys, it is an honor, a privilege, and awesome responsibility for me to have this platform. The It's About You radio show is a blessing to me to have this. Those of you who know my story, over 40 years ago, I went to college and majored in communication. I wanted to go into radio, television, broadcasting. It's birthed into me as a teenager. Well, guess what? My creator has a sense of humor. Delayed it by 40 years, ladies and gentlemen. He prepared me to have something to talk about. And of course, I put that route of a law enforcement officer, professional school counselor, domestic violence counselor, and now college educator, and now, on top of that, host of the It's About You radio show. Ladies and gentlemen, I consider this to be a real blessing for me. This show is designed to get into your ears, into your mind, into your hearts, and hopefully into your legs, causing you to move to become the greatest person that you were created to be. So with that said, I do not take it lightly, this platform. And because it's 8 a.m. in the morning, I know someone is having breakfast, someone is in the office, someone's already listening to the show, and thank you so much with that. And I always start with the morning quote of the day, for the It's About You radio show. And the quote comes from Joe Dispenza. His last name is spelled Dispenza. And his quote says, you are the person you have always been waiting for. You are the person you have always been waiting for. Yes. Oftentimes, we're waiting for somebody to help us. We're waiting for somebody to give us some good advice. We're waiting for somebody to direct us, to guide our paths. And the whole time, you are the person you've been waiting for. Hopefully, you've been developing yourself. You've been walking in your gift. You have been exploring and listening to people who's going to give you some good advice, but it boils down that he says it's you, the person you've been waiting for. Some of you have been waiting for an upper hand. Some of you have been waiting for a handout. Well, listen to me. You got two of them on the end of your wrist right there, two helping hands. Sometimes you got to go help yourself. You've been waiting for other people to encourage you. No, you must encourage yourself. You know the song. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Be encouraged. Yes, you need to encourage yourself. Walk in that gift because you are the person you have been always waiting for and looking for. That is important to be able to understand that. And that is your morning quote of the day, brought to you by MauriceMcDonald.net. MauriceMcDonald.net. Go there and learn all about, number one, about who I am and what I do. And more importantly than all that, learn all about your gut microbiome, because all disease begins in the gut. And that is your morning quote of the day, guys. Listen, last week, I started a series. I told you about the box. It's called, Let's Frame Your Success. Let's Make It Official. I did the show by my colleague at work, Miss Tamika Johnson, soon to be Dr. Johnson, working on her PhD. And my college degree on my wall was in an old beat up frame. My first college degree, I have three of them, but my first one I got way back in 1984. And let's just say that the frame was kind of outdated, raggedy, so to speak. And she came into my office and she just said, Mr. McDonald, you know you got to get a better frame. What you went through to get your degree, and you got it in that raggedy frame, you need to upgrade yourself and get a new frame. So what did we do? We went down to the bookstore. Initially, I resisted, but sometimes the creator will send people across your path to bless you to new levels. And boy, this was no different. Went down there and of course, Herff Jones, the company that makes frames and college degrees and robes and all the cap and gowns that are used. It's a very multi-billion-dollar company for graduations. They had the frame there and the box. You see, oftentimes you got to be careful that you don't miss the blessing, because I was looking for the frame on the inside to be the blessing. And it was. It's beautiful and it's expensive. It's nice and has a nice, mahogany wood with it. And, but the message that blessed me the most was on the outside of the box, the container it came in. On another note, I want you to think about children. You can buy an expensive gift for a 6-year-old, and you got the box, and the product may have cost $1,000 inside the box, but the fun is watching them playing with the box the present came in. They got the most joy out of the box itself. So for me, sitting there looking at that box on my chair right across from my desk, and it just says, let's frame your success. And that statement would not go away from me. And last week, so that's what I went with. Let's frame your success. And that is so powerful. And last week, I took that frame and began to kind of work with it and share some things that each week it's like I started writing, and my creators just kept giving me more food for thought. And it's so beautiful for me to understand when we talk about framing success. A frame is a way of looking at something. It has lenses through which we interpret our lives and our problems, opportunities, even ourselves. And two people can have the same exact experience, as I said last week, but have totally different results, and they have a different framework. Some see opportunities, others see problems. So, and I went through a whole list of things, and just to do a quick recap of it, I started talking about the different frames that add so much value in our lives and protect us. And so I started talking about the eyeglass frames. Of course, they come in different colors and shades and materials and price costs. And of course, now with the very expensive, Meta, Ray-Bans and the frames themselves are totally different. It's like having Google on your eyes. So eyeglass frames is one of them I talked about. I talked about picture frames, how you can have your favorite picture in that frame. And this was a frame for my diploma, which is what started all of this. And then, of course, construction frames provides a structure and support for buildings. And there's so many things that we're building our lives, but we're framing it wrong. So many aspirations we have, but we're framing it wrong, or we're framing it in the wrong way. We don't see ourselves as being victorious in the beginning. The different wood frames and steel frames we talked about, concrete framing. Then we talked about bicycle frames. Yes, the frame of that bicycle designed to hold the weight. The frame's got to be excellent to support us what we do. Different styles, different bikes made for the different roads. We got to frame ourselves when we get on the dirt road. When you're riding a bicycle, like a mountain bike frame is different from a frame on a bicycle that a cross-country rider may have, the kind they may use in the Olympics. Because the cross-country or the back road frame is going to have to be very sturdy because of the potholes and the jumping and hitting of stone. Different tires on that frame. Hello. So we got to look at different things we may go through in our life that knocks us around. We got to be built. We got to have the right frame, emotional frame to go through it. I talked about window frames, of course. Many times I said before, housing, you remodel, you have an old house, you need new windows. So guess what? Those frames are going to be different too. You may get new windows, but you're going to put new window frames because it's hard to put new windows in old frames. They won't fit. its design is totally different. So you got to have a total makeover. Then I talked about bed frames. Yeah, remember last week? So if you just joined me now, I'm doing a recap from last week's show. I just wanted to finish with my points. Bed frames make a difference. The type of mattress you have and all that kind of stuff. Talked about door frames. I mentioned window frames. Now we're talking about door frames. That's got to be prepared because sometimes the doors I walk through, they've got to be framed properly. I got to make sure how I view that frame as I walk through, that there's a space enough for me to go through. Sometimes you're trying to carry people designed to go through a frame for one person. You're trying to carry two people. You can't carry people to success. You got to focus on what you got, that door frame. Now, let's talk about we talked about a frame of reference. That simply means to provide a point of view, a way of understanding things. We talked about the automotive frames, the car. Do you realize some frames, the more expensive cars, are safer? Why? They come from a sturdier frame, steel frame. That frame, the more is designed to protect us in an accident. So the automobile frame is designed to protect us. The frame on a car is different from a frame on a truck. It's designed to support the engine, the body, the wheels, all of the packages. So a frame helps to protect people during accidents. So sometimes having things in your life that you go through, having your creator to be your protector, your provider, as you go through the knocks and bumps of life, that is so important. So with that said, I want to pick up today to talk about the eyebrow frames. I'll get that word right in a minute. Our eyebrows. The purpose to shape and the highlights of the face. The eyebrows play a major role in our face. And I know, gentlemen, you've seen women who have beautiful getting their eyelash, their eyebrows arched, those types of things. And women do a lot of care on their eyes and face, and we're so happy. But the eyebrows sometimes really set it off. People often say eyebrows frame the face. Eyebrows help draw attention to the eyes and affect facial expression and appearance. So that is right. How do people see us? How are we tending to our eyebrows, giving off the vision for us to see and what other people see in us? See, oftentimes they may see greatness when we don't see it. Or they don't see it and we see the greatness. So how are we shaping our eyebrows to help highlight our face? And why do we want to highlight our face? Well, we want to highlight our face simply because no matter what we go through, we can't look like what we've been through. And some of you right now listening to me, you don't look like what you've been through. And I know many of you are so glad, and I'm included, I don't look like what I've been through and how I shape it. But I don't want to, there's an old saying, never let them see you sweat. As a law enforcement officer, there were times I was afraid. I was going to a building, 2 o'clock in the morning on a traffic stop, 3 o'clock in the morning on a highway by myself, approaching people in vehicles, and there may be 4 or 5 people in the car. I could not let them see the fear. I had to overcome what was happening, and sometimes many of us will allow the opportunity to overwhelm us in our facial expression. Our eyes or those eyebrows give it away. I know there are people who gamble and they play poker or they're playing cards and they have a good hand they're playing with, but you'll never see it in their face. They have learned to control. We got to learn to control and our actions or our thoughts by not giving it away with our facial expressions. might be going through all kinds of things, going through calamity. But because of my faith, I'm not going to let my face give it away. Yeah, this is good right here. This is good. This is hot off the presses. So when we start talking about the eyebrows, the shape highlights our face, and keeping our faith as paramount, our faith as being the main instrument. And I'm not going to let, even though I may be upset, I may be struggling, but not going to allow my eyes or my facial expressions or the eyebrows to give it away. Because when it's all over, I don't get the glory anyway. So that was one of the other frames that we're talking about. And so we talked about the automotive frame, the eyebrow frame. Now let's talk about the digital photo frame. Now this is different from the picture frame that we talked about before. How is it different? Glad you asked. Number one, the purpose of the digital photo frame is to display multiple electronic pictures in one frame. Oh, multiple digital pictures in one frame. You see, that digital photo frame allows a person to show a slideshow of memories, family photos, or artwork without printing them out. Oh my gosh. Why is that so important? Number one, that digital photo frame, first of all, you get to choose the pictures you want there. You get to choose the photos you want. You get to shape the narrative of what people see. They get to see the best in you. They get to peek into your families if you so desire. Pictures of you at the beach. Pictures of you on vacation. Pictures of you graduating. Snapshots in your life to recognize who you are and sometimes whose you are. Yes, you get to allow people who may not know who you are to learn about you. It could be pictures of you playing golf. It might be pictures of you with your grandchild or whatever it is. So how does this digital photo frame help us when we talk about frames? First and foremost, we control the lighting. We control the space. We control the color of the frames inside, the light. You get so many things you get to control. In life, there's so many things that we cannot control. But that digital photo is just a reminder that, yes, I am in control. There are things I can control and I will control. It could be a reminder to somebody that, listen, this was my graduation day. And that's me getting with my cap and gown on. This is me going across the stage getting my doctorate degree. This is me getting my GED. Even though it's an electronic picture frame, but it's got to be plugged in. It's got to be charged up. You have to use electricity to charge it up. Or you can have a battery inside of it, or you plug it in to a power source and let it get charged. What does that mean? Here's how it applies to you. We have to be charged up. We got to be plugged in so that we can accomplish our goals. And just like the digital picture frame, be ready to shine when the opportunity is there. You see, people can shine, or people will see your shine who don't know you well. They don't know what it is about you, but there's a glow about you. And just like that picture frame, you get to share your accomplishments. You get to share your struggle even. Because you allow people into your world, but you get to choose what you want them to see. And just like that digital picture frame, if there's a picture you don't want to show, you will not show it. You can delete it and put another picture in. Some of you have been walking around in your past, stuck in your failures, stuck in your setbacks, just stuck. Yes, and the picture you've been showing is all negativity. I'm telling you now, it's time for you to reboot, recharge, show a different picture, speak a different word over yourself, and allow others to see what you have been through and how you have overcame it. You didn't do it by yourself. You did not climb the mountain alone. You had some help. But just like that digital frame, when you're charged in, plugged up to the right source, you're able to accomplish great things, great and mighty things, because of the frame you're in. It was charged up. You get to change the color. Having a bad day, no problem. You turned your bad day into a bad moment. Maybe a bad hour, a bad 5 minutes, and then maybe a bad 1 minute. But because you changed the picture, you don't say, I don't have bad days anymore. I have character building days. Hello. You put in a new frame. You put in a new digital frame. I have a character building days. I have challenging days, but never a bad day, because it's how I frame it. And I'm going to use the resources, because I'm going to charge up my digital photo frame. I walk a new light. I walk in a new path and into a new light. Wow, guys, I hope that's blessing somebody. The next frame I want to talk about: framework in education. Oh, my goodness. Since we're talking about how, and you just joined us, we've been doing a recap of talking about let's frame your success. And the framework I'm talking about now is the framework in education. Because, as an educator, I've been an educator since 1990. And also, like I said, I was at the police academy and other places, and professional school counselor, and now at a college. And so learning is always a great process to me. I had a great mentor, my former, one of my amazing aunts, retired educator, first African-American female principal in Durham County, North Carolina, way back in the 70s. And she saw me one day and she mentioned to me, you're a teacher. She saw me teaching something and did not know it was me. But I say this framework in education, the purpose to organize learning and provide a plan for teaching. You see, there's got to be a strategy. You can't just walk in and wing it, ladies and gentlemen. An educational framework gives structure to the lesson, the course, or the curriculum. Teachers and counselors use frameworks to help students understand the concept and meet goals. See, you got to have a framework for your education. Framework for what you're about to accomplish. You see, many of you right now listening, you've been winging it for a while. Your framework for your education has not been organized. For lack of fear, or because because of fear or lack of understanding, you don't have a plan, you're not organized, and then you wonder why things aren't working. You've been planning on going to school for 8 years, 9 years, you haven't done it yet. So this framework for education is a mindset. Knowing that, first of all, I'm going to be a student. The first mindset you got to have is, I don't know it all. Yes, that's huge. Telling yourself you don't know it all and that you're teachable and coachable. One thing you must have in order to have a good framework in education is be teachable and coachable. If you're not a person that's teachable and coachable, that you know it all, your framework is all going to be for naught. Your framework is way out of alignment. And that framework is starting with the basics. I must be teachable. I must be coachable. I want to learn. I want to be able to be organized. I need a plan. The teacher needs a plan, but so does the process of you, the student. And sometimes that could be on your job. Some people don't have the right framework while you're not getting promoted. You're not teachable. You're not coachable. You know it all on the job. You want to come and change everything instead of finding what the system is, evaluating things, and great to come up with some ideas that could save the company money. Absolutely. But first you plug in and learn. If you come into the job with the mindset is, I want just an employee, clock in, clock out. You don't have desires of growing the company, helping them to be an asset, to be a blessing to the company. You want to drain. Then your framework of the education process, people don't want to mentor you. You see, you got to have a mentor. Yes. And if people aren't willing to mentor you, maybe it's because your framework on the education process is not in the right place at the right time. Hey, listen, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. What if I told you that some of the most powerful influences in life live in your gut? That's right. Trillions of tiny microbes make up your gut microbiome. And they're busy chatting with your brain, your immune system, even your mood. These conversations are called gut accesses. Think of it as your body's group chat. When the gut speaks, everything listens. Your energy, focus, and digestive system might feel it too. The good news is small changes like taking P84, 84 organically grown fruits and superfoods harvested worldwide, which supports a healthy gut microbiome. Take it in powder form. Simply pour it in 8 ounces of water. Then take Protandim, which has been clinically tested to reduce oxidative stress in your body by 40% in 30 days. It can give you the healthy edge. Imagine turmeric, green tea, ashwagandha, and many more healthy supplements that don't just provide supplementation, but activation. This Healthy Edge Pack will significantly impact your overall health. Change one thing and change everything. Go to MauriceMcDonald.net. That's MauriceMcDonald.net to learn more and get the Healthy Edge, or call 877-634-8194 to get free samples and learn how you can take charge of your health today. We're back, guys, here on the It's About You radio show, WDRB Media, the voice of the community. I'm your host, Maurice McDonald, and we've been talking about this idea of let's frame your success. So if you just joined us, you missed the first segment. We just did a recap of the show last week, so this is a continuation about that picture frame that I talked about, the box. And oftentimes I realize I get my inspiration from so many places. My creator just drops things to me, gives it to me, and I give it to you the way he gives it to me. Straight, and understand. I hope it blesses you to do this. So I realize this is a gift. This is nothing of my wisdom or anything like that. I just know that it just shares with me. So I just finished talking about the digital photo frame and then of course the eyebrow frame, and then the last one was talking about the framework in education, and I left off about being teachable and coachable on your job. People sometimes don't want to mentor you, and you need a mentor. Get the framework of education right there. That's the main thing, is you need a mentor. If you don't have somebody to take you under their wing, you will be lost. Someone is going to give you the ropes and show you, but you must first and foremost Be organized in your thoughts, desires to want to learn from them. Be the sponge that you're gonna grab all the knowledge they're willing to give you, and you're gonna listen and be quiet and follow instructions. That is so important. So that when we're talking about the framework in education or your learning process, so that frame is important. The next frame I want to talk about is a time frame. Time frame. And I'd say the purpose, is to establish when something will happen or how long it will take. See, time frame. Ooh, let me just go ahead and start off with this one, let you know right now. When it comes to time frame and opportunity never goes away. It just goes to the next person who's ready. Ooh, it doesn't go away. You didn't lose the opportunity. It wasn't for you. You weren't ready for it. So the time frame is important. A time frame helps people plan, stay organized, set a realistic expectation or a realistic goal. Let's say, for example, somebody may be set on a 6-month time frame to complete school or to save money or to reach a goal, when in reality, it's an unrealistic expectation. When you're over and putting so much pressure on yourself that it may take more time. And guess what? Just know this. It takes what it takes, ladies and gentlemen. There is no rush. There is no rush to all of that success. It may take longer. And then sometimes you're moving too long. You're taking too long by being over cautious and you got to know all the answers before you move. No, listen, you only need to know enough to get you to the next step. The idea of it is all you need is that lamp. You don't need a spotlight in front of you. You may need a light unto your pathway. God words talked about that from time to time. He reaching that you want to know everything. I got to study. No, your time frame is learn while you earn sometimes. Stay in the moment of the time frame. Your plan. Stay organized. Realistic expectations of yourself. This should take me this amount of time. I need to study this. I might need to check with my mentor, to figure out about the time frame it should take. Is this a 6-month or a 6-year plan? Is it a short-term goal? So the time is important. Timing. But let me, along the lines of time and frame, taking too much time can block your blessing. Too much time can block your blessing. Where you are overthinking, you're just all over the place. Or the idea that you are to a point where because you hadn't had good success in the past, you've given up. So a time frame is important. This is where, a journey that should take you one day takes you 10 years. There's a problem. There's a major problem. And I want you to understanding the time frame is everything. Giving yourself grace because last time you rushed the process. Well, you learned from the last time frame that you need to give yourself more grace and walk in that and say, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to make it through. So those were the different time frames that I wanted to share and include with this. So with that same line, though, now I want to talk about the personal frame. All the things I talked about before has been great. But now let's talk about the personal frame. The first type of frame when I talk about personal frame that I want to talk about is the personal frame in how we see ourselves. Ooh, how we see ourselves. It's built from our experiences, our beliefs, our values, our upbringing, our self-image. All of this is a personal frame. See, the other frames were great. So from this point now, let's start talking about the personal frame. The man or woman I see in the mirror. The man or woman that when I wake up in the morning and I speak to. Or the man or woman that I go to bed at night and I speak to. In the midst of the turmoil, I speak to myself and I tell myself, I got this. I know what the experience has been teaching me. I got this. This is important to focus on. So with that said, the person that I see in the mirror, the personal frame, how I see myself, how I'm built from those tough times, how I'm tougher, that I'm not making any more excuses, how I value myself, and my upbringing. Am I still saying things that was said to me by my parents or my grandparents? The examples. Instead of saying, I know I'm going to lose, I can't make it. You start saying things like, because your personal frame, how you speak over yourself, you're starting to say things like, I am capable versus I've always failed. Yes, I may have failed in the past, but because my personal frame is different, you start saying I'm capable. Instead of saying I'm too old, you say things like, I still have something to offer. I still have something to offer. Is that not powerful? That is very powerful, because oftentimes what I say, what you say, that's the first step to success or setback. Because your personal time frame is important. I'm capable. Instead of saying I've always failed. Oh, change the language, ladies and gentlemen. I'm too old. Listen, I still have something to offer. It's much better. And I want you to think about it for a second. I want you to process this. What is the personal frame that you've used for? What is your personal frame used for? What have you said about yourself? What if you repeatedly said things? I've heard students in my class say things when they get something, a question wrong, or they didn't do things as good as they thought they should. They say things like, I'm just messed up. I'm brain dead today. Ladies and gentlemen, that frame like that is not necessary. Not part of that personal frame. Your personal frame is used to shape confidence, self-esteem, your motivation, and personal direction, ladies and gentlemen. You got to have that. This is your personal frame that's designed to shape and mold you like clay, ladies and gentlemen, like the pottery. See, that pottery is important. You can make any shape you want. You can make the shape. And sometimes that personal frame is so valuable to your success. Also, a healthy personal frame gives you courage to try new things, to overcome obstacles, and believe that success is possible. Believe that success is, because this is your personal frame. Because the framework we've been talking about is in order to, like I said, the words on the box said, let's frame your success. Let's frame it. What frame are you putting it in? Is it used to shape your confidence, your self-esteem, your motivation? A healthy personal frame gives people courage, as I said, to try new things. For example, if you frame yourself as someone who can learn, grow, and improve yourself, then when setbacks come, setbacks become lessons. You see, you're not focusing, I failed. No, it's the lesson. You don't fail. What was the lesson? But if you frame yourself as someone who's never succeeded, then even small challenges can seem so impossible. A little hill, 5-foot hill, looks like Mount Everest because you frame it. Oh, I knew I would never make it. I don't know why I'm going back to school. I don't know. Oh my God, I knew something bad was going to happen because you already framed it in a negative light. And therefore, that's what you have. But the lesson is very simple. Your success begins with the frame you place around yourself. Like that diploma. When I placed the new frame around the old diploma, I didn't get smarter, but guess what? Anybody that sees it, it's going to now attract them to look at the degree even more because it's framed properly. So my question is, when will you stop making the wrong frames in your personal frame? When will you start making better decisions, better choices along that line? That is so important. So we just finished talking about your personal frame. The next frame I want to talk about is the opportunity frame. Opportunity frame. Man, the second one. We've been talking about opportunity earlier. This frame asks one important question. What is possible here? What is possible for me? Instead of seeing obstacles, people using an opportunity frame see the possibilities. What is the opportunity frame used for? What is it used for? The opportunity frame. Instead of saying that, oh, I'll never make it, let's take a look at this whole piece. What is the opportunity frame used for? Okay, it's used for problem solving, goal setting, career growth, business ideas, personal development. Oh, PD. I love the word PD, personal development, ladies and gentlemen. So when you think about the opportunity frame, this is really so powerful that instead of seeing obstacles, people using the opportunity frame sees possibilities. Because I've got this opportunity, I met this person at the right time, at the right place, and I just knew we were meant to be together because they connected me. I was able to network, ladies and gentlemen. You were able to network and take advantage of an opportunity because you were put in rooms, you were put in spaces that you've never been put before. And this has opened up so many doors for me. And there are people who say, I was just lucky. No, you were not. It was a coincidence. No, it was not a coincidence, ladies and gentlemen. It was called a God incident. Hello. A God incident. Timing. You were in the right place at the right time, in the room, hearing the right information that your Creator put you there. Be there, planted like a seed, and you're going to be harvested. As time goes on, you will grow. And that's dealing with, as I said, problem solving, goal setting, career growth, business ideas, personal development. All of these things will help you be successful in the workforce, in the workplace, there in the marketplace, ladies and gentlemen. Because a lot of times you've heard people say this, you were qualified. It wasn't what you knew, but you happened to meet the right person. And they got you at the right time for you to dream again and take advantage of the opportunity frame. Because there's a saying, I'd rather be ready for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared and ready for it. Yes, all of that right there is good stuff. That is so important. And I mentioned about that personal development. It's so powerful. For example, if you lose a job, it can be framed I'm at the end of my road. Or it can be framed as an opportunity to start a new career, to return to school, to launch your dreams or dust your dream off. Oh, that's good stuff right there. See, when you start talking about opportunity framing, you got to put yourself in the room. You got to be in position to bring about change because you were in the room. You put yourself there. You strategically, by the way, let me just tell you this right now. If you're not strategically trying to get yourself into spaces where you can bring change, there will always be problems. You see, putting yourself in the right opportunity, in the right environment, opens up so many doors. And this opportunity frame is just that. Putting yourself in spaces that you're able to win is so important. That, what can I learn from this situation? How can I grow from this? Who's willing to help me network? Because successful people will ask them the question, what can I learn from this? How can this situation make me stronger? Where is the opportunity hidden inside this challenge? Let me tell you, the opportunity frame does not deny that life can be difficult. Indeed, it can. But it helps us to look beyond the difficulty. See, life will knock you down. One of my mentors and individuals that I listen to all the time is the famous Les Brown. When Les Brown talks about if life knocks you down, land on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up, he said. And oftentimes opportunities will come and you will get knocked down. Yes. But if you got your opportunity frame going, how you frame it, the opportunity may say what looked like a calamity, which will look like failure, which will look like hard work, which most people run from opportunity because it won't come with a bow. It will come with flowers and thorns, with weeds all in it, bugs all in it. Opportunity come dressed up in work overalls. Opportunity come to you and you got to get dirty to get it. You got to invest some money into it, or you got to spend some time. You got to go do it. And this ain't for me. And you run from the opportunity because it don't look like what you want it to be. Yes. I know I'm a person that's huge in network marketing. I'm a huge a proponent of people going out here changing their income. They want to make, unconventional money by doing conventional things, a 9 to 5. Never going to work. It's what you do after 5 o'clock. That's what you do. How you go out here and do unconventional things to make unconventional money and be able to earn money while you sleep. But then, you see, that's an opportunity that people run from because they have not been taught. I want to be able to have mailbox money. I want to be able to have, in case inflation goes up, but I run. Gas prices will go up. And it's the only way you can do if you got something that's inflation proof. Yes, that you can raise prices if you have to. A job, you can't do that. So I'm taking time to realize that there are people running from opportunities and they don't have the right framework of their mindset about it. Now, my next point, we talk about this. The challenge frame. I mentioned about challenge before. The challenge frame looks at a problem not as punishment, but as a perspective. That's what it looks like. It looks like preparation. Hey, when you have a challenge frame, you begin to see struggles as opportunities, as I said before, to build strength, wisdom, patience, and perseverance. You see, I see the challenge before I talk about the opportunity. So now we're talking about the challenge frame. And what does the challenge frame do? It's going to build resiliency. It's going to develop character. It's going to handle setbacks. It's going to help you stay motivated during hard times. Oh, let me tell you something. If you're a person that first time there's a challenge, you fall apart. You run to the hills. Oh, I can't make it. I don't understand. I don't understand how this happens. Listen, what I'm telling you is you need to build resiliency. You need to put your big boy pants on, ladies and gentlemen. Develop some character behind this thing. Stay motivated, even in the midst of the setback. Because most successful people and companies have had many setbacks. I want you to think about this, for example. Someone who's training for a marathon. They can expect some pain, some exhaustion, some setbacks. Do not see those things as signs to quit. You first start working out. Oh man, your muscles say, wait a minute, you haven't used this in 5 years. There's a little pain. So you say, oh, that's a sign to quit. No. I want you to think about the company you work for, the company you retired from, that nice pension you have, that nice salary you have. That owner of that company, the CEO of that company, had 4 or 5 years of struggle. They went through the sacrifice. They went through the turmoil. They sacrificed. They sold all out. They sold their homes, some of them. They cashed in all their bonds and put it all on the line to make this company grow. They borrowed money. They networked with people. They collaborated with other companies. And now that multi-million-dollar company that you work for that's paying you that salary every month is because that person did not give up. They had a challenge frame that was impeccable. You see, life is coming at us. Like what my students say in school, life be lifing. Yes, life is coming. Temporary setbacks. Because that's all it is. It's uncomfortable. Difficult times will be uncomfortable. But that does not mean that you can't make it. That does not mean that this challenge frame means for you to quit and give up and throw the towel in. By no means necessary am I saying that. That part is so important to understand and why it's important that you got to have it. The next frame, the relationship frame. The relationship frame is how we view and interact with other people. Some people frame relationships through the trust, respect, cooperation. Others frame relationships through fear, suspicion, or competition. They're competing against other people. You think about it. What is your relationship frame? How do you use it? Is it used to strengthen, communicate, build trust, improve teamwork, resolve conflict, develop healthy family and community relationships? How do you see relationships? What are they there for? How do you handle them? Do you run from them? For example, when discouragement happens, one person may frame it as an attack, while another person sees it as a chance for me to grow. Some people frame, their determination to respond to things differently. If we assume the worst, we often create more difficulty. So we frame others in understanding with empathy and create a stronger relationship. That is so important. Ways of handling this and making sure that you get the opportunity to have this, this relationship frame the right way. Even, having relationships at work with colleagues that you're the team player, with family members, with neighbors, with your church members, with where you volunteer. What type of relationship do you have with them? Are you the good listener? Are you the talker all the time? Always giving your advice. Even when they didn't ask for unsolicited advice, you're giving. but yet, you're not listening. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Hey guys, all disease begins in the gut. Go to mauricemcdonald.net and learn about your gut microbiome. That's MauricemcDonald.net, and learn about P84 and order that today. Get it in your system for a better, healthier sleep and also total good rest. We're back, guys, here on the It's About You radio show. WDRB Media, the voice of the community. If you just joined us, we have been talking about that frame. Let's frame your success. And we've been talking about the relationship frame. I've been talking about the frame of the challenge frame, opportunity frame, your personal frame. So all these different frames. I mentioned about time frame, your framework in education, your digital photo frames, all the different types of frames and the mindset that goes with those. And I talked about that challenge frame, ladies and gentlemen, and then the relationship frame, because many deals are made on relationships. Yes, on the golf course, multi-million-dollar deals because somebody had a handshake and a conversation on the tennis court or golf course, and that changed everything. And that happens all the time. Leadership frame. The leadership frame is how leaders see their role and responsibilities. A good leader does not focus on problems. Now, employees will focus on problems. Oh, Lord, there's a problem. I don't know what to do. A leader knows, okay, that I'm not bringing up a problem, so I figure out how to solve it. A good leader frames the future. Leaders help people see where they are going and why it matters. You see, if I got in business with somebody, I want to know what's your why. Are you going to be here when things get tough, or are you going to take off and run? Why is leadership frame used? It's used, number one, to inspire people, to build vision, create direction, motivate teams, to bring people together. There are several leadership frames, obviously, and that's important. And sometimes that leadership is in the household. There are so many men I know that want the family to follow them. But are you worthy of following? Want your significant other to blindly follow you, and you're leading them to economic chaos with your spending, with your poor decision making. You know good and well you buying a new car. You do not need to buy that Mercedes. Well, if I work 2 jobs, I work a third job. I can get that Mercedes. And then you get the Mercedes, I want to put the new rims on them. I don't want the rims. I don't like the, listen to me. And now you wonder why when there's problems, the family don't want to follow you. Yeah, I'm talking to you, guy. I'm talking to you. So my question is, are you worthy of, are you the kind of person people want to follow? As opposed to this is just what you want to do. So it is important that we realize that we got to figure out ways of being more productive in our leadership frame. Because whether you're at home, in church, your fraternity, your sorority, you may be in a leadership role. But number one, that doesn't make you the boss. Are you a manager or are you a leader? Do you lead by example? Yes, the leadership frames, and that is so important. When you think about a strong leader knows when the time to use each frame that they may have. When in the workplace is disorganized, the structural frame is very important to help people. The moral frame, when morals are low, the human resource frame needs to be worked, like on the job. It's important. When there's conflict, do you kind of person help solve the conflict? When people need inspiration, are you there? Are you the encourager? Or are you the discourager? Ooh, somebody needs to hear that. Listen. I know this stuff is good. It's moving very fast, ladies and gentlemen. I have not gotten all the points I wanted to share. I thought this would be my last one on it, but I believe my time is about to run out on me. And I just wanted to make sure that if you've missed any of my shows, please go to It's About You radio show on my YouTube channel. It's About You radio, and you get a chance to listen to all the shows you may have missed. Make sure you follow me there on Instagram too. Maurice McDonald 51 on Instagram. You reach out to me there as well on TikTok. But you also go to mauricemcdonald.net and you learn all about your amazing gut microbiome and learn about your gut health, ladies and gentlemen, to help you feel better totally. And that is important. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be back next week. Next Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on WDRB Media, the voice of the community. It will be the It's About You radio show, and we're going to be in the building.